what you have is a recipe for a presidential disaster. You're unable to fight a war over a long period of time with television. We were unable to counter the squalid, bloody depictions on the screen of young men getting blown away every night of every week. And there is no counter rebuttal to that.
January 31st, 1968. The North Vietnamese launched the most daring assault of the war, the Tet Offensive. The television reports were alarming. What was more disturbing for the White House were the pictures of dead and wounded Americans that seemed to be burned onto the television screens.
Awful sick of it. I'll be so glad to go home. I don't know. Worst area we've been in since I've been in Vietnam.
You think it's worth it?
Yeah, I don't know. They say we're fighting for something. I don't know.
Well-coordinated attacks occurred throughout South Vietnam, but the most dramatic demonstration of his boldness came at the very symbol of America's presence in Vietnam, the brand new U.S. Embassy building there. CBS News correspondent Robert Shackley reports.
Military police got back into the compound of the $2.5 million embassy complex at dawn. Before that, a platoon of Viet Cong were in control.
Television images of the Tet Offensive did as much destruction to the administration's policies in Vietnam as anything that ever happened.
I saw that tape, and I saw General Loan blow the top of the man's head off. And Chad Northshield said to me, where do we stop this? Because you saw a lot of blood spurting out. You saw the man falling on the ground and the blood still coming out of the top of his head. And I said, cut it when the bullet hits the skull.
We went straight to the Independence Palace.
Communist forces entered the city from 6 different directions. They had planned a 2-year campaign to capture the capital. It took 55 days.
Saigon was now encircled, and South Vietnamese troops could not move out more than 10 miles along any road. Beyond that, the communists were waiting. Outside the American embassy, the wise, the wealthy, and those with any known American connections had been queuing night and day, demanding pleading for a visa and a ticket for a seat on the United States evacuation planes flying out of Thompson Airport. The plan was for a helicopter evacuation from the embassy grounds, and the signal was Bing Crosby singing White Christmas over Radio Saigon. But somebody forgot to play it, and the embassy was stormed. So people fought and clawed their way over that wall, and they did fight and they did claw. The hysteria was infectious. The North Vietnamese army entered Saigon just as they had planned on May Day. Their journey had taken over 30 years, 10,000 days. And those of the world's press left behind in the city witnessed the triumphant arrival.
This is a historic moment, the arrival of the North Vietnamese regular army in Saigon, right in the middle of Saigon, just after 12 o'clock, just after noon. Here they are, pouring down the main avenue.
Though American equipment still stocked Saigon's markets, the Americans were gone. They counted nearly 60,000 dead, more than 300,000 wounded. It was their first defeat. The promised end of the tunnel had brought not light, but a new uncertainty, new questions. What was America's role in the world? What were the lessons